Drug discovery up until now has been limited by small molecules that act very specifically on particular targets. And it's been a successful strategy for certain kind of diseases. In particular, diseases of infectious origin, where microorganisms, viruses are the target, and you want something that very specifically targets those actions and achieves a successful therapeutic elimination. Most of the diseases we're interested in now are disruptions in normal metabolic physiological processes, and small molecules fail in that approach. What Nuritas has recognized is that throughout the evolution of humans, and actually all organisms, is they signal largely with fragments of biopolymers. Peptides are the language of communication within living organisms. So the most successful strategy to improve functioning of complex systems is use the same language they use. Peptides are the language of communication within cells, so a strategy for therapeutic intervention that uses peptides is literally a breakthrough. Up until now, they're too long, too complicated, in fact, structurally too diverse to imagine that we could screen through the number of candidate peptides. With AI, we can do that now.
AI is really at that interface of taking a very, very slow and inefficient and basically archaic system of drug development and, jet rocketing it into the future based on high-speed computing, biomathematics, neural networks, algorithms that allow you to do what took, years to do in a very short period of time. And when you connect that to really enriched databases like the databases that Nuritas has access to, you can really accelerate the progress rate of finding actives that may be useful as new therapies for common diseases.
The failure rate of drugs is so high, and the cost to get to market is astronomical. If you can have higher success rates and have higher confidence in your drug leads earlier and get to that final lead you want to go into clinic as quickly as possible, it's going to fundamentally change the drug discovery platform, and this is exactly what Nuritas is doing.
If we look at the way Nuritas develops their platforms and looks at databases and use their artificial intelligence programs, they can look at families of related diseases. And for example, diabetes, which causes dysregulation of blood sugar, which causes vascular problems, is often associated with another disease called NASH, which is a disease where you have a large amount of fat that builds up into the liver. These are two related and interconnected diseases that have a lot of morbidity associated with them. So by looking at these related diseases, and for NASH specifically, where there's no approved therapy, we are addressing a really big unmet medical need.
In my experience, small molecule drugs have had their day. The most successful applications of those are behind us. We now need to develop strategies that are more integrative, that look at the complexity of in essence, health, and are able to intervene in ways that are both effective and have minimal side effects, i.e. safe. And Nuritas has developed a strategy that is in many ways unprecedented. They're tackling both of those problems simultaneously, using AI strategies to look at therapeutic efficacy and minimizing side effects by using a completely novel and innovative strategy. Stop pursuing small molecules that hammer a target. Use literally the biology's own communication system, peptides. Assemble multiple peptides into cocktails that gently push health towards a safe and effective outcome. The model that I think of is pushing Jell-O uphill. You can't hammer Jell-O uphill. You need to gently guide it with multiple hands. Our health problems are like pushing Jell-O uphill. Nuritas can solve them. In all my years as a professor at the University of California, Davis, What has frustrated me most is the inability of the therapeutic and pharmacological community to appreciate that the next generation of therapeutics is going to come from natural products, and especially food. And that's where AI represents an unusual opportunity. There are so many possible molecules available in the broad aspect of agriculture and food. The challenge is, how can we find the few that are both safe and effective? That's going to require deep machine learning, and that's why the optimism for AI-based strategic therapeutic discovery is so attractive.
The beauty of Nuritas's platform is that you don't have to fully understand the system that you're trying to target. You just need to understand what the phenotype is, and you can build out large data sets and look at large sequence spaces for novel peptides and novel protein structures that might actually be able to achieve that phenotype without actually understanding the underlying mechanism behind it. So it's skipping over a lot of the decades of work with basic biology and going straight to the solution.
So when you think about the drug discovery process, first you may identify something that you'd like to treat, like muscle wasting that occurs when you're at bed rest or you have illness. So then you decide what is known about the molecular biology, what pathways are involved when muscles waste. So once you've identified those molecular targets, you can then interrogate with an AI program like the Nuritas program databases and come up with a series of peptides that you can test in model systems to see if they impact those pathways. If they do, then you can go to the next step, which is to put them into animal models. And if the animal models are promising, you can then go into first-in-man study. And in fact, this is what Nuritas is doing with their muscle wasting program. That is the exact process that they followed. And it doesn't take 10 years. It might take a year or so to do what used to take a decade based on this process.
The great potential that the strategies of Nuritas provides is that we can deliver precise health in a more personal way and in a preventative way. And that people will genuinely, as healthy individuals, be guided towards continued health and freedom from disease. That's a wonderful future. But there's an even more attractive alternative. By understanding exactly how the biological processes in us work and how they don't work that leads to disease, gives rise to a tantalizing possibility. That as we understand those processes well enough, we can control them therapeutically. And we can literally give people control of their own health. That you could imagine diet, lifestyle that is personalized to your aspirations for your health. That metabolically, you are fueled when you want, where you want. Immunologically, you're protected how you want and when you want. Physiologically, you're functioning how you want, when you want. That literal transformation of health itself from a disease-centric perspective to a health and performance-centric perspective is the real attractive potential of these technologies.